Wine's mom. Seriously, I regret marrying you. Wine's mother shouted, her voice trembling with frustration, as Wine's father accused her of not giving enough time to the family. I regret it too. I really want a divorce. He gritted his teeth, his eyes full of anger. Why not? It would be the greatest gift from you. She yelled back, her voice sharp with bitterness. Just do it fast. With that, she stormed out of the room, slamming the door behind her. In the other room, Wine sat on her bed, tears silently rolling down her cheeks. Her heart ached from hearing her parents fight like this. She pulled her knees to her chest, wishing she could escape the pain and chaos around her. The next day, Wine went to college. As she walked through the hallway, her mind was stuck on last night's fight between her parents. She was so lost in thoughts that she didn't notice someone watching her with a wide smirk on their face. When she finally reached her locker, she opened it and took out her things. But as soon as she turned around, a scream escaped her lips. What? She stammered. Startled, can't you show up like a normal person? Just once in your life? She snapped, her voice filled with frustration. No, it's my choice. He sat, his smirk growing wider. Wine rolled her eyes, ready to walk to her class, but just as she turned, Jungkook tugged at her bag's strap, stopping her in her tracks. I think you're forgetting something. Where is my assignment? With a high sigh, Wine rummaged through her bag and pulled out the assignment, placing it into his hands. Here, you got it. Now please just leave me alone, okay? Her voice was sharp, frustration bubbling over. And from now on, I won't write any of her assignments. She added angrily, her eyes flashing with determination. Wine hurried into the classroom, trying to shake off the tension from her encounter with Jungkook. Inside, everyone was busy with their work, some whispering and gossiping among themselves. As Wine passed by one of the girls' desks, a leg suddenly stuck out from the side, causing her to trip and fall to the floor. Laughter erupted around her. Aw, Miss Dropper fell on the floor. She mocked, her friends giggling alongside her. Wine felt her cheeks heat up with embarrassment. She knew they were jealous of her because she always scored good grades, but Jisoo's laughter cut deeper. She had a crush on Jungkook, and Wine could sense the envy radiating from her whenever he was near. Jisoo's friends joined in the laughter, but beneath it all, Wine recognized their insecurity. Jungkook may tease her, but he didn't truly care for Jisoo the way she wanted. It was just another reminder of the complicated dynamics in their group. As Wine sat on the floor trying to gather her things, Jisoo leaned over to her friend Lisa, a mischievous smile on her face. Look at her, all flustered. Miss Perfect can't even walk without tripping. Why you would think someone who always gets top grades would know how to navigate a simple classroom? They both chuckled, glancing at Ryan, who was struggling to stand up. And I bet Jungkook loves seeing her fall. It's like he gets to play the hero when she's in trouble. Or maybe he just enjoys watching her embarrass herself. It's the only way he can feel better about his own grades. Jisoo laughed, her eyes sparkling with satisfaction. Honestly, I don't know why he even bothers with her. He could have anyone else, but instead, he picks on her. It's almost sad. Maybe it's because deep down he knows she's not as perfect as everyone thinks. They shared a knowing glance and burst into laughter again, enjoying their moment of fun at one's expense. Just then, Minho walked in and noticed wine on the floor. He rushed over, concern flashing in his eyes. Hey, wine, are you okay? He knelt down quickly, helping her gather her things. As he lifted her up, he pressed his hands on her shoulders, holding her a bit too tightly. I'm fine, really, she said, feeling uncomfortable, but unsure how to express it. Don't listen to them, they are just being mean, he said, his voice firm. He turned to glare at Jisoo and Lisa. Why do you always have to pick on her? It's not funny. We are just joking around, she replied, but Minho didn't let it slide. It's not a joke when it hurts someone. Back off. Hey, Wine, are you okay? He kneels down, quickly gathering her scattered books, pressing down on her shoulders, a bit too firmly, making her feel uneasy. I'm fine, really. She attempts a weak smile, but her discomfort lingers, and her mind is still clouded with thoughts of her parents' fight. Suddenly, Jungkook appears, striding over with a confident swagger and pulls Vine away from in her grip. Oppa, how are you? And why were you side hugging Vine? Don't touch her. Come sit with us. Her voice drops with false sweetness as she shoots Vine a disgusted look, clearly enjoying the scene. Oh, sorry, but I'm good with Vine. His tone is casual, but the way he stands close to Vine makes it clear he's not backing down. Look, Jungkook is taking Vine's side instead of yours. You should do something about it. Oppa, isn't it starting to look like you like her? She tries to sound casual, but the tension in her voice betrays her irritation. Jungkook smirks, his expression shifting to something more sinister. Nah, I never loved her. It's possible I hate her. I just want to bully her and hurt her. So, from now on, stay away from her. His words sliced through the air, making Wine's heart sank. Jisoo bursts into laughter, her amusement echoing in the classroom as her friends join in. Choco glaring at Jisoo, his voice dropping to a low, dangerous tone. Now would you stop laughing, or else? The threat hangs in the air, causing Jisoo to smile awkwardly, her confidence wavering. Wine stands there, feeling small and trapped, a wave of pain washing over her as she grapples with the harshness of Jungkook's words and the mocking laughter surrounding her. As the class began, Wine sat beside Jungkook, trying to block out the noise in her mind. The weight of her parents' fight still lingered, making it hard to focus. So, Wine, did you finish the assignment or are you too busy being a teacher's pet? Wine ignored him, her eyes fixed on the teacher. Today, we will be discussing the importance of Jungkook leaned over, whispering in her ear, "You know, I hear the teacher's pet gets extra snacks in the cafeteria. Is that true?" She rolled her eyes but couldn't help the slight smile that tugged at her lips. "If you keep this up, you won't get any snacks at all." Suddenly, the teacher called out, "Wine, can you stand up and explain the main points of today's lesson?" Wine's heart sank. She had not been paying full attention, and now all eyes were on her. Well, the main points were about. The teacher's expression shifted, clearly unimpressed. "Is that all you have to say? I expect more from you, especially with your grades slipping." A wave of humiliation washed over her. Mine flushed. "I'm sorry, I just," cutting her off. "You should be sorry. You can't keep relying on your past achievements if you don't stay engaged. Your grades are getting low and it's disappointing." The class murmured, and Wine felt her cheeks heat with embarrassment. She glanced at Jungkook, who was now watching her with a serious expression, his previous teasing demeanor gone. "It's okay, Wine. Just breathe." Wine trying to regain her composure. I'll do better." "I hope so. Now sit down and pay attention." Wine sat back down, her heart racing. She could feel the weight of everyone's gaze, especially Jisoo's snicker from across the room. "Looks like Miss Perfect isn't so perfect after all." Jungkook turned to Wine, his tone shifting to something more serious. "Don't let them get to you. Everyone has a rough day sometimes." "Thanks, but right now, please don't disturb me." As the lecture wrapped up, Wine sighed in relief, grateful for a moment of peace. She gathered her things, ready to escape the classroom and take a breather, but just as she stood up, she felt a firm grip on her wrist. Jungkook pulling her back, a curious look in his eyes. "Where do you think you are going?" Wine turned to him, frustration bubbling just beneath the surface. Wine pulling her wrist free, her voice steady. "I'm going to get some fresh air. Not that it's any of your business." Jungkook raised an eyebrow, a mix of surprise and amusement on his face. "Wow, someone's feisty today. I just wanted to know if you would join me for a snack." "I don't need your company. I can eat alone. Thanks." Jungkook leaned back in his chair. His expression shifting to one of genuine intrigue. "Are you sure? Because it sounds like you could use a friend right now." Wine took a breath, her heart still racing from the earlier embarrassment. "A friend would not mock me during class, Jungkook. So, no, I don't want to spend time with someone who treats me like a joke." The weight of her words hung in the air, and Jungkook looked taken aback. "I didn't mean to hurt you. I was just playing around." As Wine turned away from Jungkook, a wave of confusion washed over her. She couldn't believe he had spoken to her so gently. Wine's point of view, what just happened? Did Jungkook actually show a softer side? One moment he's teasing you, and the next he's almost kind. I can't let this get to me. I have to stay strong and not let his antics distract me. Meanwhile, Jungkook slouched back in the chair. Jungkook's point of view. Why did I say that? I usually joke around with her, but today felt different. I enjoy teasing her, but maybe there is something more. I shouldn't feel this way. I just want to keep our banter alive. But the truth is, I like being near her, even if it means making her the target of my jokes. Across the room, Jisoo watched them closely, her jealousy boiling beneath the surface. Author's point of view. In this tangled web of emotions, Jungkook found himself caught between playful, teasing, and genuine feelings. He often bullied Vine, but it was his way of keeping her close, even if it meant pushing her buttons. Jisoo, harboring her own crush on Jungkook, couldn't stand to see him giving Vine any attention. She plotted ways to undermine Vine, convinced that putting her down would elevate her own status in Jungkook's eyes. As the bell rang, signaling the end of class, Wine gathered her things and prepared to leave. She glanced at Jungkook, who was smirking as usual, but today there was something different about that smirk. Why does he always have to act like this? Is it just a game to him? I won't let him get to me. No matter how much he tries, I'm stronger than that. Jungkook catch her gaze and smirked wider, enjoying the effect he had on her. She's always so strong willed. I like that about her, but I can't let her know how I feel. If I stop teasing her, I might lose the only way I have to keep her close. As they made their way to the cafeteria, Jisoo intercepted them, feigning casual interest. I can't let this continue. If Jungkook keeps giving her attention, he will never notice me. I need to find a way to show him she's not wanted. Hey, Jungkook, why are you always hanging around her? You know she is just a nerd, right? Wine's response, at least I'm not pretending to be someone I am not, Jisoo. I like how she stands up for herself. It's what makes her interesting. But Jisoo's jealousy only makes me want to protect Wine more. As the cafeteria burst with laughter and chatter, Jungkook continued to tease Vine, but today there was an underlying tension in the air. One shot back with bold replies, surprising even herself. I won't let him think he can walk all over me. If he wants to play games, then let's play. But I refuse to be just his punchline. Whatever, you think you are so special just because Jungkook talks to you. Newsflash, it doesn't mean anything. She's so desperate to bring me down, but I won't let her. You're right, Jisoo. I'm not special. I just refuse to be someone's joke. Jungkook chuckled, enjoying the exchange. She's got fire. I can't help but admire that. Maybe I'm not the only one with a game to play. Maybe I need to switch things up. If being nice keeps her on her toes, then it's worth a shot. The class began, but Jungkook found herself stealing glances at Ryan, intrigued by the way she focused intently on the lecture. She's not just a nerd, there is something about her that keeps me coming back. I need to figure out what it is. As a teacher, John, Ryan felt a strange sense of comfort in Jungkook's presence, even if their interactions were complicated. Why does this feel so different? I can't let myself get attached. I have to focus on my goals, but it's hard when he's around. As Wine made her way toward the cafeteria, she grabbed a quick snack before walking back to the classroom for her next lecture. The hallway was quiet, only a few students lingering between classes. As she moved through the hallways, the sound of her footsteps echoed lightly against the walls. Suddenly, someone grabbed her by the arm and swiftly pulled her into an empty classroom. Her scream was muffled as a hand covered her mouth. Her heart pounded in her chest as her fear shot through her. For a second, she thought it was Jungkook, but something was off. The scent was unfamiliar, and the grip was different. Just as she was about to react, the person spoke in a hurried whisper near her ear. Wine, please don't scream. I just want to say something. I won't hurt you. She blinked in surprise, realizing it wasn't Jungkook but Minho. A classroom she had spoken to a few times. Confusion flashed across her face as she slowly removed his hand from her mouth, calming her racing heart. What's going on? You scared me. What's so urgent that you had to drag me like that? Minho looked nervous, his eyes darting around the room as if he wasn't sure how to begin. Taking a deep breath, he gathered the courage to speak. Why, I have been wanting to tell you this for a long time, ever since I first saw you. I have fallen for you. You're always on my mind, and I want you to be my girlfriend. Wine's eyes widened in shock, her heart skipping a beat as she processed his words. This was the last thing she expected. She had always seen Minho as a friend, someone kind and polite, but nothing more. As he continued to speak, his voice earnest and filled with hope, she felt a knot of guilt from in her chest. I know it's sudden, but I couldn't keep it to myself anymore. I think we would be great together, and I just had to tell you how I feel. Before he could finish, Wine raised a hand, stopping him mid sentence. Wait, girlfriend. I don't know what to say. I have always seen you as a friend, a really good friend, but I love someone else. Minho's hopeful expression faltered, his smile fading as her words sank in. His face hardened slightly, and his eyes searched hers for any sign that she might change her mind. But Wine's words were clear, and her gaze was steady. You love someone else? Yes, Minho, I'm really sorry if I led you on, but I have never thought of us that way. You are a great person, but my heart belongs to someone else. As the weight of Vine's words sank in, Minho's expression darkened, shifting him from disappointment to frustration. His eyes flickered with something unsettling, and before Vine could react, he took a step closer, his presence now far more threatening than it had been moments ago. When his voice lowered, his tone laced with something uncharacteristic of the soft spoken boy she knew. Someone else, huh? You are saying no to me for someone else. Wine felt a chill run down her spine as Minho's demeanor changed. She took a step back, but the classroom was small, and before she could distance herself, Minho grabbed her by the wrist, yanking her toward him. Her heart raced in panic as he pushed her back against the teacher's desk, the hard edge digging into her lower back. Minho, what are you doing? Let go of me. Her voice was sharp, but he didn't listen. His hands pressed against her shoulders, pushing her down onto the table. Fear surged through her, her mind racing for a way to escape. Minho leaned down, his breath hot and erratic as he whispered, "If I can't have you, I don't care who does." His hand moved toward her, grazing her waist as she struggled to push him off. Just as Wine's heart pounded in her chest, the door to the classroom swung open with a loud bang. Both Minho and Wine's heads whipped toward the entrance. Jungkook stood there, his eyes blazing with fury, fists clenched so tightly. Without saying a word, Jungkook strode across the room in long, determined steps. He grabbed Minho by the collar of his shirt, yanking him away from Wine with such force that Minho stumbled back, crashing into a chair. "What the hell do you think you are doing?" His voice was dangerously low, filled with an intensity that sent a shiver through the air. Minho scrambled to get up, but Jungkook didn't give him the chance. He slammed Minho against the wall, pinning him there. His forearm pressed hard against Minho's throat. "Touch her again, and I will make sure you regret it." Minho's eyes widened in fear as he struggled to breathe, nodding frantically in response. Jungkook released him with a shove, causing Minho to fall to the floor in a heap. Gasping, scrambled to his feet and bolted from the room, not daring to look back. Wyatt, still sitting on the edge of the desk, trembled as the adrenaline began to wear off. Her mind was a whirlwind of emotions: fear, shock, relief. Jungkook turned to her, his voice softening as he approached, concern now replacing the anger that had consumed him moments ago. "Wyan, are you okay?" She looked up at him, her eyes wide, still trying to process everything that had just happened. She nodded slowly, her voice barely a whisper. I think so." Without thinking, Chung reached out and gently pulled her into his arms, holding her close as she trembled against his chest. His grip was firm, but comforting, and for a moment, Wine allowed herself to relax. Feeling safe in his embrace, Jungkook's point of view: "I should have been here sooner. I never should have let her get in that situation. If anything had happened to her." He tightened his hold on her slightly, his jaw clenching. Despite everything, his feelings for Wine burned even brighter now. He had spent so long teasing her, keeping his distance through playful jabs, but seeing her in danger had awakened something deeper inside him, a protective instinct he couldn't ignore anymore. Wine's point of view: "I never thought Jungkook would be the one to save me. Why did he care so much? He usually makes fun of me, but right now he is different." Wine pulled away slightly, looking up at him with questioning eyes. "Why did you help me?" Jungkook hesitated for a moment, his usual smirk absent from his face. He stared at her, emotions flickering in his gaze that he had not allowed himself to show before. "Because I care about you, Wine, more than I have been willing to admit." His words hung in the air between them, heavy with a tone that neither of them could deny. Wine's heart skipped a beat, her confusion growing even deeper. Before she could respond, the sound of footsteps in the hallway broke the moment. Jungkook released her, taking a stepped back, his usual playful mask slipping back into place. Let's get you out of here. You have had even excitement for one day. With that, he led her out of the classroom, leaving behind the tension of the encounter, but not the new feelings stirring between them. Jungkook grabbed both his and Wine's bags from the classroom, slinging them over his shoulder as he walked toward her. Without saying much, he gently took her hand, guiding her through the school hallways. Wine followed, still shaken by everything that had happened. She couldn't quite process why Jungkook had come to her rescue or why he seemed so protective now. They made their way to the principal's office, and Jungkook spoke firmly but politely. Sir, one is not feeling well. I think she needs to rest. Can we get permission to leave early? The principal looked at Jungkook, then at Wine, noticing the pale look on her face with a nod. He agreed. Take care of her, Jungkook. Make sure she gets some rest. With the approval granted, Jungkook led Wine out of the building, his grip on her hand still firm but gentle. Instead of heading straight home, he turned toward the park near the college, a quiet spot where they could talk without interruptions. As they arrived at the park, the cool breeze brushed past them. Jungkook found a bench under a tree and sat down, pulling out something from his bag. It was a small first aid kit. Wine, still processing everything, blinked in surprise as Jungkook gently motioned for her to sit. He opened the kit and pulled out a bandage, one that had a name written on it in small, neat letters. Wine's heart skipped a beat when she saw it. Her name. You carry a bandage with my name on it? Jungkook's face flushed slightly, but he didn't back down. He carefully applied the bandage over her bruised elbow. He stretched tender as if he had done this 1,000 times in his mind. I guess I have been preparing for something like this. I didn't expect things to get this serious today, though. Wine watched him in silence, her heart racing as she tried to understand what was happening. Jungkook was always teasing, always bullying her, but right now he seemed like a completely different person, gentle, caring. Jungkook, why are you doing this? Why are you helping me? Jungkook sighed, rubbing the back of his neck awkwardly, clearly struggling to find the right words. After a moment, he looked at her, his usual smirk gone, replaced by something more vulnerable. I guess it's time I stop pretending. Huh? He took a deep breath, his eyes locking onto hers. I have been acting like an idiot for so long. Bullying you, teasing you, it wasn't because I hated you. It's the opposite. I have been trying to keep you close. You're strong. Wine. You always fight back, and I love that about you. But I didn't know how to show it, so I teased you. I bullied you because that was the only way I knew how to be near you. Wine's breath catch in her throat, her mind spinning. She never expected to hear this from him. For so long, she thought he was just making her life difficult for fun, but now it all made sense. You mean all this time you were doing it because you liked me? Jungkook nodded, his gaze softening as he continued. Yeah, I did it because I couldn't figure out how else to be around you. I know it's messed up, and I'm sorry for that. But I just want you to be with me. Why? I thought if I kept teasing you, we would have some kind of connection.
Wine looked at him, stunned. This was the Jungkook who had made her laugh in frustration, who had pushed her buttons but never truly hurt her. She had always wondered if there was more to his teasing, but she never expected this kind of confession. Jungkook, I don't know what to say. He leaned forward slightly, his voice softer now, filled with sincerity. You don't have to say anything. I just want you to know the truth. I like you, Wine. I have liked you for a long time, and I don't care what happens next. But I need you to hear it. Wine's heart fluttered at his words. The boy who had driven her crazy with his antics was now baring her heart to her. She could see the vulnerability in his eyes, the way he waited for her response with bated breath. Jungkook, I never thought this would be how things turned out between us. A small smile stuck at the corners of Jungkook's lips as he sat back, relieved that she wasn't angry. Yeah, well, I didn't expect to fall for you like this either, but I did. The air around them felt different now, softer, as if the tension that had always existed between them was finally beginning to ease. Wine looked at the bandage on her elbow with her name written in his handwriting and smiled faintly. I guess you have been thinking about this for a while, huh? Chunguk chuckled, nodding. You have no idea. Jungkook's gaze softened as he moved even closer, his breath warm against her face. His voice was low and tender as he said, you have no idea how hard it's been pretending I don't care when all I have ever wanted was to be close to you. Wine's heart raced at his words, her pulse quickening as she tried to steady her breathing. Jungkook reached out, gently cupping her cheek with his hand, his thumb tracing a light path along her skin. His touch was soft, yet it made her whole body tingle. He leaned forward, their foreheads gently pressing together. The world seemed to fall away, and in that moment, it was just the two of them. Wine felt her face flush, her mind whirling at the intensity of the moment. His closeness, the way he held her so carefully, it was like he had been waiting for this as much as she had. Jungkook's voice was barely a whisper. Now, the words brushing against her lips like a secret meant only for her. All I have ever wanted is for you to be mine, Vine. The way he said it so sincere, so raw, sent her heart into overdrive. Wine's cheeks flushed deep pink. The warmth spreading across her face as she struggled to hold back a shy smile. His forehead still rested against hers, his breath steady as he waited for her reaction. She couldn't look away from him, her eyes locked with his as her heart raced. So, would you like to give me the answer or will keep blushing? Yes, I like you too.